Unenforceable contracts. When we say unenforceable contracts, these contracts cannot be enforced. Okay? Article 1403 provides for the kinds of unenforceable contracts. One, we have unauthorized contracts, meaning these contracts cannot be enforced because they are unauthorized. Or two, these contracts cannot be enforced because they do not comply with the statute of frauds. And this pertains to the formality, to the formal execution of the contract. We are talking about here formal contracts. Remember, we previously discussed the three kinds of contracts as to perfection. We have consensual contracts, real contracts, and formal contracts. And under the formal contracts, di ba tulo to siya? Formal contracts as to validity, meaning you have to comply with the formalities prescribed by law. For purposes of validity, that's number one. Second, for purposes of enforceability. And number three, for convenience. Katong enforceability, mao na ni siya class under sa unenforceable contracts. Meaning, under number two, sa statute of frauds, these contracts must be in writing, diba? Formality, formal execution. These contracts must be in writing, otherwise, they are unenforceable, meaning you cannot enforce them. Okay? And the number three kind, the third kind of unenforceable contracts, we have both parties are incapable of giving consent to a contract. Remember voidable contracts? In voidable contracts, one of the contracting parties is incapable of giving consent. But here, under unenforceable contracts, both parties, all of the parties to a contract are incapable of giving consent. So these are the three kinds of unenforceable contracts provided under Article 1403. Okay, so now let's discuss them one by one. The first kind of unenforceable contracts pertains to unauthorized contracts. So this would be under Article 1317 and Article 1403, number 1. Article 1317 provides that no one may contract in the name of another without being authorized by the latter, or unless he has by law a right to represent him. A contract entered into in the name of another by one who has no authority or legal representation, or who has acted beyond his powers, shall be unenforceable, unless it is ratified expressly or impliedly by the person on whose behalf it has been executed before it is revoked by the other contracting party. So Article 1317 says that a person cannot enter into a contract in the name of another without being authorized by that person. Okay? Without being authorized by the latter. Kasi if you're going to enter into a contract representing such person, and such person does not give you the authority to do so, then the contract that you enter into is considered unenforceable contract. Okay? So, nakipag-transaction ka in the name of, let's say, your father, pero wala kang i-authorize sa imong father makipag-transact, makipag-kontrata with that person, then unauthorized ang contract, hence unenforceable. We also have Article 1403, number 1, okay? Another kind of unauthorized contract. So those entered into in the name of another person by one who has been given no authority or legal representation or who has acted beyond his powers. So actually, 1403, Article 1403, is a parallel provision of Article 1317. So, partner na silang duha. And the basis of unauthorized contracts, no, would be Article 1317 and Article 1403, number 1. Example, A sold to B a parcel of land belonging to X. So X is the owner of that parcel of land. The contract of sale stated X is represented by A, meaning A is the representative of X. Okay, A represents X. X is represented by A, hereinafter known as the seller, and B as the buyer. However, in reality, class, X never authorized A to sell X's land. So what is the status of the contract? It is unenforceable. Why? It is an unauthorized contract. A entered into a contract of sale with B representing X, no? A is representing X, but without any authority coming from X. Hence, the contract of sale entered into by A and B is unenforceable. So that is the example class of the first kind of unenforceable contract, which is unauthorized contract. So you cross-refer Article 1403 number 1 to Article 1317. So if the contract here is unenforceable, meaning it cannot be enforced against X, okay, because X did not give A the authority to sell the land of X. So B, in this case, no, cannot go after X. B cannot compel X to deliver the land to B. Okay, si A ang managot. So si A would be liable for damages kay B because A cannot comply with his obligation. Why? Kasi the contract cannot be enforced. And the land, which is the subject of the contract of sale, belongs to X, to another person, to a third party. No? Not a party to the contract of sale between A and B. That's why the contract there is unenforceable. Okay? A and B cannot enforce the contract against X. So it's as if walay sale nga mahitabo. Okay? Dili mabaligya ang lupa kay B because A has no authority coming from X. Unless, okay, unless X will ratify the contract of sale between A and B. So we have already discussed ratification. That's one of the remedies available to an aggrieved party in voidable contracts. We have two options available to innocent party in voidable contracts. We have number 1, annulment, number 2, ratification. So same here in unenforceable contracts, the remedy available to the aggrieved party or innocent party is ratification. So in this case, if X would ratify the contract of sale between A and B, then the sale now becomes enforceable, the sale becomes valid, no? And enforceable. So it can be enforced now against X. So pwede na ma-compel si X to deliver the land to B. Pwede na si B maka-enforce ng kontrata against X, okay, and against A. Because in that case, class, if X would ratify the contract of sale, it's as if X has given A the authority to sell his land to B. So si A, agent bali siya ni X. So the contract of sale entered into by A, being the representative, the agent of X, is enforceable na siya against X. Let's go to the second kind of unauthorized contracts. So we have here those which do not comply with the statute of frauds. Okay, so we have here Article 1403, number 2, okay? Letters A, B, C, D, E, and F. So, unsa man ang importance sa statute of frauds? Meaning class, under the statute of frauds, these contracts kanang A, B, C, D, E, and F sa 1403 number 2, these contracts must be in writing. Must be in writing. Okay, formality, formal execution, it must be in writing. Otherwise, these contracts cannot be enforced. Although these contracts are valid, class, but you cannot enforce them. Same with voidable contracts. Voidable contracts are valid contracts until annulled. Here also, these contracts are valid but unenforceable, meaning you cannot enforce them. Letter A. An agreement that by its terms is not to be performed within a year from the making thereof. So like construction agreement, nagsabot mo karon na magpabuhat kag balay for 2 million pesos. So, nisugot mo, unya nag-shake hands mo ni contractor, of course. Pero, buhato ni siya next year pa. Okay? After 1 year pa. So, the construction will start after 1 year. No? After 1 year from the time that you have agreed with the contractor. So, in that case, class, pwede pa mag-back out si contractor. Why? Because it is unenforceable. Okay? Unenforceable siya. Why? Because nag-shake hands lang mo. The agreement was not reduced into writing. Wala gisulat. Remember, under the statute of frauds, these contracts must be in writing. Otherwise, they are unenforceable. So in letter A, if your agreement with a contractor was not put into writing, then it is unenforceable. And what's the consequence? The contractor may still withdraw or mag-back out sa inyuhang agreement because it is unenforceable. Letter B, a special promise to answer for the debt, default, or miscarriage of another. So here we have the contract of guarantee, no? For example, so let's say A borrowed money from B with C as the guarantor. So na contract of guarantee si A and si C that in case, no, A would not be able to pay B, wala jud siya kwarta pambayad kay B, then C, no, can pay B. C will be compelled to pay B. So that's the contract of guarantee. So in that case, kanang kontrata, kanang contract of guarantee between A and C, wherein in case of default, C would pay for the debt of A to B, it must be in writing, class. No? Otherwise, pag wala siya nakasulat, wala in writing, then the contract of guarantee between A and C is unenforceable. So, sa mahitabo. So, C, as the guarantor, will not be compelled to pay B in case A fails to pay. Letter C, an agreement made in consideration of marriage other than a mutual promise to marry. So, an example here would be prenuptial agreement. So, the prenuptial agreement, class, between the bride-to-be and the groom-to-be, no? has to be in writing for it to be enforceable. It must be made before the marriage, before the celebration of the marriage, before the ceremony. So again, if such prenuptial agreement is not reduced into writing, then it is unenforceable. Letter D. This talks about an agreement for the sale of goods, chattels, or things in action at a price not less than 500 pesos. So, kung 500 ang price, you have to put it into writing. So, 500 pesos and above, put it into writing. Kato nga sale, kato nga agreement. Otherwise, kung wala siya nakasulat, then such agreement, such contract of sale is unenforceable. But if the price class is less than 500 pesos, pwede siya oral. Okay? Pwede verbal. No need for you to put it into writing. So, enforceable gihapon siya. So, under letter D, kapag 500 pesos and above, then the agreement for such sale must be in writing. Okay? 500 pesos and above ang sales price. Letter E. An agreement of the leasing for a longer period than 1 year or for the sale of real property or of an interest therein. So, more than 1 year ang duration sa inyong lease. When you say lease, contract of lease, renta. Okay? So, pag more than 1 year ang duration sa lease, dapat it has to be in writing. Otherwise, it is unenforceable. Okay? Kapag more than 1 year ang duration ng lease. Kapag 1 year ang duration, okay lang na verbal. Okay lang na dili into writing. Put into writing. Okay? It's still enforceable. Pero kapag more than 1 year, ang lease period, ang duration ng lease, then it has to be in writing. Or for the sale of real property, if what is being sold is a real property, meaning a land, mga immovables, it has to be in writing. Otherwise, it is unenforceable. Although the contract of sale of real property is valid, even though oral lang siya or verbal, but you cannot enforce it. Why? Because it fails to comply with the statute of frauds. And under the statute of frauds, Article 1403, number 2, letter E, it must be in writing. Pag magbaligya ka og real property. Lastly, we have letter F, a representation as to the credit of a third person. So how is this different from letter B? Letter B, a special promise to answer for the death, default, or miscarriage of another, katong contract of guarantee that we have discussed. So how is letter F different from letter B? In letter B class, you promise to pay the debt, diba? You promise to answer for the debt. Ang sa letter F, maingon lang ka na he can pay his debt. Ano lang? There's a representation as to the credit of that person. You can say na he can pay his debt. Mugaranti ka sa iyahang credit standing. Manong pasabot sa letter F. It doesn't mean na ikaw ang mubayad in case of default. No. Ang letter B, ikaw ang mubayad in case of default of the debtor. Kasi ikaw si guarantor. But in letter F, ang imong gigaranty dili kay ang pagbayad, kundi gigaranty nimo na that person is capable of paying his debt. Okay? So, mayroon lang ka na, yes, he can pay his debt. Oh, that is a representation as to the credit of that person. So, if it is not in writing class, kanang letter F, then you are not liable for your representation because it is unenforceable if not in writing. So again, unenforceable contracts under the statute of frauds are valid contracts, no? They are valid contracts, but again, you cannot enforce them. How can you prove the contract? As a general rule, if the contract is not in writing, you cannot prove it. But again, there are exceptions, okay? And in relation to the exceptions, we have this question. Can the defense under the statute of frauds be waived or ratified? So that's the question. And the answer is found in Article 1405. Of course, the answer is yes. The defense under the statute of frauds can be waived or ratified. Okay? Article 1405 provides that contracts infringing the statute of frauds referred to in number 2 of Article 1403 are ratified by number 1, by the failure to object to the presentation of the oral evidence to prove the same, or by the acceptance of benefit under them. Okay? So let's discuss number 2, the acceptance of benefit under them. Kasi kanang number 1, pang law student na siya, no? So pang civil procedures, offer of the evidence, presentation of the evidence, and objection by the opposing counsel, by the other party. So, dita magdwell dira. But just familiarize yourselves with these two, okay? Ways on how these contracts, no? These unenforceable contracts infringing the statute of frauds can be ratified. So that's number 1. By failure to object to the presentation of the oral evidence. Then number 2, by the acceptance of benefit under them. Okay, just familiarize yourselves with those two. Pero direkta sa number 2, by the acceptance of benefit under them. Okay. Kanang statute of frauds class, applicable lang na siya sa kontrata, sa mga contracts which are executory. Meaning, i-execute pa. And this statute of frauds is not applicable to those contracts which are already consummated or which are already fulfilled either totally or partially, no, performed partially or totally. So for example, you enter into a contract of sale of real property. Remember under 1403 number 2, no? Under the statute of frauds, a sale of real property must be in writing. Otherwise, it is unenforceable. Although it is a valid contract, but it is unenforceable. What if you entered into a contract of sale of a parcel of land, no? But the contract was not in writing. So A entered into a contract of sale over a parcel of land with B, but the contract of sale was a verbal contract of sale. It was an oral contract of sale. It was not reduced into writing. So question, is it unenforceable? Yes. Although it is a valid contract, but it is unenforceable, meaning you cannot enforce it. You cannot prove it as a general rule. But it can be ratified. How? By the acceptance of benefit. For example, si A, di ba, nagbaligya og lupa kay B. Oral ang contract of sale. But it was partially executed. Why? Nag-down payment na si B kay A. So, kanang down payment class, that is partial performance, no? Partial performance, partial fulfillment sa kontrata. Gidawat man to ni A. So in that case, the statute of frauds, no, will not be applicable kasi dili naman siya executory. Partially complied with naman, partially consummated naman siya. So in that case, because of the acceptance of benefit, meaning the acceptance of the down payment by A coming from B, then the contract there, the contract of sale of real property, bisag pa oral siya, na-ratify na because of that acceptance of benefit. So in other words, it becomes enforceable na. Okay? So that is what we mean by number 2. The acceptance of benefit under those unenforceable contracts. So what's the reason behind? What's the wisdom? Anong dili naman applicable ang statute of frauds? Because class, instead of preventing fraud, you're actually allowing fraud to be perpetrated. If you will not allow the contract to be proved, okay, by oral evidence despite acceptance of benefits. Kasi nga, kanang statute of frauds, naana sa balaod to prevent fraud, to protect the parties from fraud. Kay lisod man, no? Kung oral lang ang inyong kontrata, ang inyong agreement. So what if di ay nangatik na makak? So there is fraud employed by the other party. So luoy ang aggrieved or ang innocent party. Mauna, giingon sa balao, dapat pag mga ingana, mga kontrata, mga agreement, it must be in writing para enforceable siya. Okay? But here, as an exception to the general rule, bisag pa oral ang contract of sale, katong contract of sale over a real property, a parcel of land, for example, bisag oral pa to siya, the fact that the other party has accepted the down payment sa itong example, so may acceptance of benefit, then it now becomes enforceable ang kontrata. Okay, dili na siya fall under the statute of frauds na requirement na dapat in writing siya. So na-ratify na siya. It's as if ratified because of such acceptance of benefit. The third kind of unenforceable contract is this, no? Number 3, both parties are incapable of giving consent to the contract. So, both are incapable. Let's have number 1. So, let's determine the status of the contract entered into by the following parties. Number 1, minor and insane. So, both of them are incapable of giving consent. Remember voidable contracts? Kapag minor, incapable of giving consent. Kapag insane, incapable of giving consent. Here, both of them are incapable of giving consent. Si minor at si insane ang nag-enter into a contract. So the contract entered into by the minor and the insane person is unenforceable. Third kind of unenforceable contract. How about minor and sane? So minor, incapable of giving consent. The sane person is capable of giving consent. So ang number 2, voidable contract siya, di ba? One of the contracting parties is incapable of giving consent. How about number 3? Minor and adult. Then the minor reached the age of majority but did not impugn the contract. Meaning, when the minor reached the age of majority, no? Wala niya gi-question ng kontrata, kipasagdan lang niya. So, nagpadayon. Okay? So, initially, the contract between the minor and the adult is voidable. When you say voidable, it is valid until annulled. Kinsa lang ang makapaanal, ang makafile ng ang makafile ng action for annulment katong innocent party. The innocent or the aggrieved party only has the right to file an action for annulment. And the annulment class, the annulment decree must be issued by the court. There must be a court order for that before ma-annul ang usa ka kontrata, mapakansela. Okay, dili ang parties ang magpakansela-kansela lang. It must be the court. Unless gi-ratify ng parties, no need na ng intervention ng court. May court intervention lang kapag annulment. Ipa-annul ang kontrata. Pero kapag ratification, no need na ng court intervention. The parties can ratify the contract. No? The voidable contract, or in this case, the unenforceable contract. So here we have the minor and the adult. Initially, the contract is voidable because the minor is incapable of giving consent. One of the contracting parties is incapable of giving consent. But the minor, upon reaching the age of majority, did not impugn the contract. Hence, giratify niya. Ni padayon ng kontrata. We have already discussed ratification under voidable contracts. So in that case, if the voidable contract is ratified, what will happen? It now becomes a valid contract. So the remedy under the unenforceable contracts is ratification. So again, we have already discussed ratification under voidable contracts. Now the adoption, the voluntary adoption of the defects of a contract. So who can ratify? That's provided under Article 1407 to 1408. So we have again the innocent party or the aggrieved party. Remember, the guilty party cannot and can never ratify the contract. Kay siya man ang salaan. So, ang walay sala, ang aggrieved or the innocent party, siya lang ang maka-ratify ng contract. Under Articles 1407 to 1408. So, kindly refer to 1407 to 1408. 1407 provides that in a contract where both parties are incapable of giving consent, express or implied ratification by the parent or guardian, as the case may be, of one of the contracting parties shall give the contract the same effect as if only one of them were incapacitated. So again, the guardian or the parent may ratify the contract. Or if the minor reaches the age of majority, the minor may ratify the contract. So can a third party ratify the contract? That's the question. Under Article 1408, it says that unenforceable contracts cannot be assailed by third persons. So in other words, a third person cannot ratify an unenforceable contracts. Okay? Only the parties to the contract can ratify the contract. And kinsa nga party? The innocent party.